Habari ya jioni wenzangu, natumai kwamba mko salama na buheri wa afya. Na ningependa kuchukua nafasi hii kukaribisha wale ambao wanatutazama na pia wale ambao labda watakuja kutazama kipindi baadaye. Na pia wacha tena nichukue hii nafasi pia nikaribishe mandugu zangu wawili ambao tunataka kukuwa nao na mazungumzo ya leo. Makobura, habari gani?
Kwa salama nashukuru.
Yeah.
Na nyinyi pia na wasalimu. Habari zenyu, mmeshindaje? Mnaendeleaje? Mnaona vitu viko vipi? Kando na hayo, nachukua pia fursa nikaribishe wale watazamaji wetu na kuwahimiza ya kwamba wa subscribe, let them like, subscribe and possibly waambie wale wenzao ambao wako karibu na wao nao pia wa subscribe na tukue familia kubwa. Vile vile natambua uwepo wa Gypsy Corner pale comment section. Tunamkaribisha, asante sana.
Okay, asante sana ndugu yangu kwa hayo umesema. Pia wacha nichukue nafasi hii pia ni mshukuru Gypsy Corner kukuja. Namuona pale na pia naona pia political buffs inasema asylum alaikum my brothers. Inanikumbusha wakati ule mtu wa Homa Bay alisema bana, ni kama hiki kitu inakaa ni shida na sisi
That was the deputy president, I mean the deputy governor of Homa Bay. He was unable to say assalamu alaikum, alafu najibu alaikum sijui barakato sijui nini lakini tutaijua tu.
Okay, asante sana. Pia naona ndugu yangu Gitonga pia yupo, na tumai nyinyi wote mko salama buheri wa afya. Miguda, wewe upande wa kwako uko vipi? Miguda? Labda kuna shida na mitambo yake.
Wanasikia kakangu, unanisikia? Unajua leo Makuvura ameanza vizuri, amesema Kiswahili 100. Amesema Kiswahili zake zote mpaka ingilia ile ya witi salamu alaikum. Sasa sema amesema kila Kiswahili mpaka akazungumza ya yule gavana. Mimi nasema kwa upande wangu mimi niko salama, niko swadakta na niko vyema. Ni tu pale niko kuna njeve na vile vile pia watu wanapalilia mashamba zao, na ningeshukuru kuwaona wenzetu pali wako kila msee wenye wameingia katika comment section, na pia vile vile na karibisha katika kipindi hiki, na pia natumai tutajadiliana vizuri mpaka tukamilishe kipindi.
Okay, asante sana ndugu yangu, na pia naona pale ndugu yetu ametuandikia brother Benson at Makobura and Miguda, itabidi ni wafunze Quran. Asante sana, sisi tuko tayari kwa mafunzo na na tumekubaliwa kuingia madrasa kwa sababu labda tuseme kwamba miaka yetu imesonga sana, ama hakuna ile miaka ambapo labda tunasema kwamba mtu anaweza ingia kwa madrasa. Hiyo utatujibu, utatuambia, na alafu pia utatuelezea tutakupata vipi ili tuanze mafunzo maalum ya wewe ukiwa mwalimu wetu. Okay, thank you very much, everyone who has joined and everyone in the comment section. We take this opportunity to thank you all. Makobura and Miguda, there's so much going on. Yesterday, there was a fight in the Parliament compound of two legislators, women. They were fighting, and today one of them has been suspended for 90 days by the Parliament. What is your take when you see our leaders go so low, such that they fight? And I was seeing some comments on the social media that I don't know whether I can authenticate them or the reason why they are fighting. What is your take?
Okay, fine, thanks. I saw the clip of the Yala member of parliament and the UDA nominated member of parliament. They were fighting just like you said. I can't verify, but of course, if we are supposed to go with what was trending on social media, then I don't know what to say on that. But what I can say as a gentleman, as a Kenyan, as a patriot, what they did was not good. And especially being that they were doing it in a public place. They are honorable members. Being given that tag honorable, it comes with some, it comes with some behavior. There's some behavior and character that you're supposed to display when you're walking around, when you're interacting with people. You are an image, you are a reflection of the entire leadership. And that's why you've been given that tag honorable. And I think that clarifies a bit of the problems that we are facing as our people, because if you see leaders getting into fights without them coming together to solve their issues on a woman to woman or man to man basis, then that tells you that there's a problem. There's a problem among our leaders. The level of incompetence in them is too high. As much as the people of Kenya has been talking about it, they're trying to behave or show it that they're not incompetent, but they can't continue, protecting their image, because the people who are holding those specific positions, they are not really honorable members. They are not really honorable people, but what they are portraying is a character that tells you of people who are holding positions which are not truly theirs. That is what I can say. But maybe to add on that, it's a good move for the speaker, to give them that harsh punishment, because that would then set some rules, and maybe any member of parliament or those leaders who want to engage in such kind of fights, if maybe they think of the punishment that it comes with, they might not get into that. But what I believe as an adult, people can always sit down and speak. And whenever two people who are in conflict and maybe the third person comes in, I'm quite sure and I fully understand that there's nothing impossible. Whatever problems that people are going through, it can be solved. And that is the best way to solve problems between two or more people. That's my take. You are muted.
Thank you so much, Makobura. And I know we will be going to discuss about the explosive revelation. Gachagua is becoming more dangerous to Ruto and his administration. That is something that we need to keep on talking about. And I'm talking in terms of dangerous, in terms of the political, in terms of politics. That is what we are going to pick that angle. As you talk about the video, and I'm also inviting Miguda to talk about it. And in the on the background, I heard a sound like a male voice saying that wachana now. I don't know whether, and he might be member of parliament too, or somebody who is working on parliament, and they had to take the video and put it online. Miguda, what is your take on it? And Ndwari, thank you so much and welcome to the show.
This is not the first time we are seeing our leaders fighting in public and in public premises like Parliament. There was a time when Jaguar fought against Babu Oweno during those time of Uhuru regime.
Yeah.
I think sometimes they say that it's a friendly fire. Sometimes it's also more of, but the bad act is that they are public figures, public leaders fighting in public places and also demonstrating. What do they demonstrate to the public in general?
Yeah.
If you have differences between amongst yourself, there are avenues whereby you can use to ensure that you resolve your issues other than fighting against each other, because you can harm your fellow human being and you can cause injury. Some people can, there are some people, if you even give them one blow, they can die. The some people can you can end up subjecting some people to by elections. Like what they said, if Salasia could have been, if that match could be between Gor Mahia and FC Leopard, Salasia people from here, so from here could be going for by election today. So we should avoid these things, because you can fight someone to death. But sometimes also it's more of a friendly fire also in leadership. But we condemned that they should not demonstrate that one in the eyes of the public.
Okay, thank you so much. And this is what Gibson Connor says. Kevin Makobura, the type of people elected in the Assembly House need more vetting. They are immature, and I'm really worried about how they talk about the Senate House, saying that it is for the older folks. That is true, and the people that elect them are I don't know where sometimes we usually lose that trail of looking for good leadership until we end up with leaders who sometimes fighting becomes the norm. And you've mentioned about Jaguar, and there's also one back in the days, if you know Honorable David Mwenje, and was it Otieno Kajwang, the late Otieno Kajwang Mapambano? Yes, back in the days, Honorable David Mwenje, the senior Mwenje, if you, the senior Mwenje who competed, I think he competed against Ndolo. Was it Makadara? I'm losing that. Mwenje before I think it was before the new constitution and before even the Embakasi.
Yeah, before the division.
Yeah,
it was before the division of constituencies within Nairobi.
And which constituency? It was the Embakasi, by the way.
It was Embakasi because the Mwenje Junior is currently a member of parliament in Embakasi. Is it
West?
West, yeah, West.
Yeah, so Mwenje was the MP for Embakasi before that. Okay, thank you so much, gentlemen, and everyone on the comment section for your view. Maybe Makobura, as we talk about Rigathi Gachagua too, you'll have to mention ODM were having party primaries at the local level. There are some areas that was very successful, but there are some areas that turned very violent. One of them is Bondo. In Bondo, the two factions were fighting, and there were casualties. Some are in hospital right now, are getting treatment. And I know also your area, Nyakach, too, had some violence. So we will keep on checking and giving you brief as this goes.
Yeah, maybe to comment on that, and specifically about the ongoing ODM primaries, and specifically Nyakach constituency.
Yes.
Nyakach constituency is a constituency that is within Kisumu County, and it's coming out to be the most violent constituencies, especially in Kisumu County. The reason being is because there is almost more than 10 individuals have currently announced that they want to become members of parliament, and some of them, they are all tycoons, I would say so. Some of them have actually been linked to the gold, whatever. Not one, actually 2, 3 of them. And so there's high political temperatures in that constituency.
Yeah.
And that is being brought about by people having a lot of money, and so they're trying to buy each one of them. More than 10, you can imagine. They all have money. It is money, not just money. I hear them sometimes do politics, and they're telling each other that let us continue giving money, and whoever gets to 2022 and they still have money, possibly they might take it. And the question we're asking,
okay, go ahead.
The question we're asking ourselves is, as ODM, it seems that it has attracted so many contestants. The first thing they're supposed to do, they have got their guidelines. I saw even people coming from my own village. Some of them were actually in hospital. And the reason being, while those kind of, primaries were going on, people started fighting. I don't know, youths, these people are using goons, and they're, and again, remember that is the only county where the level of theft, animal theft, is on another level. In that area called Nyakat, you don't get out at night to walk, because if you do, there are high chances that you'll meet thieves. And I can also confirm to you, not around 2 or 3 weeks ago, actually our Wezi, they came to our compound, and they took almost 4 cows, and they went. Up to date, we have not even found, we've not heard of anything. Instead of leaders coming together to solve or to come up with ways of dealing with the problems, there's high level of unemployment in that area. There's high level of youths getting into very shoddy deals. Some of them are becoming thieves. Instead of sorting out such kind of issues with the money that these people are claiming to be having, they're using their money to to bring confusion among youths, and to have competing on who is going to have many. I think we need to have a sit down one of these days and talk about the politics of Kisumu, specifically Nyakat constituency. It is coming the limelight, and it is not good. We need to get concerned as a people.
Okay, thank you so much, and you will answer this later, because thanks so much that Gibson Corner too has raised it, because we are talking about they're competing about money, who has the money that will sustain you throughout until 2027. But now the issue of the challenges that are affecting people it might not be on the list, and that is one. Secondly, the people who are vying, they are vying for positions of the party, especially like chairman, the youth league, women league, all that. And these are the same people who will be
actually they're using this position so that this position they will be coming and saying that sisi ndio watu wa ODM.
Okay, so when they go for nomination, for example, so they are the people who are going to decide who to be given the certificate during the same nomination, or if I might not be wrong. Okay, that is fair enough. Now we understand, because like immediately after passing here, you are guaranteed to be area of member of parliament and MCA. At Mark is talking about money in capital letters, vile and I repeat. Okay, sawa. Miguda, maybe your remarks now before we go to the main discussion and talking about how Rigathi Gachagua is becoming more dangerous to President William Ruto with his administration, and how can now President, because this is a political competition, how can he encounter Mr. Rigathi Gachagua?
Before we go into our discussion, let me just comment on the ODM currently elections, because it's very important. And maybe to clarify what Ubra said, in Nyakat constituency, we have more than 10 aspirants, and all of them have money. If you don't have money, you are not supposed to run in that constituency. Not just money, but they have money in capital letters, the way Gitonga has just stated. And some of them, we know them personally, and we say that they have money. And the reason is you can find that someone is an aspirant, it's not an MP, but he can issue a bursary worth 15 million per ward, and they can even construct churches, and they have money to an extent that if you don't have money, you're not supposed to come to the ring to fight. But the thing why the reason why they have to fight in these elections for the ODM is because ODM usually have excuses when it comes to nomination. They will tell you that we have 3 types of nominating our candidate. We can go through universal suffrage. If universal suffrage does not work, we can use delegates. And the officials which are being elected today are the delegates. And also we can give you direct tickets. So they are aware that the current nomination is coming in the party. They are going to use delegates. So you must ensure that all the people elected from the polling station up to the county level, they must be your people, so that when they go for delegates, they will elect you as the person who will carry that ticket for them. That one is very important. That's why people are investing in this election, those members of parliament. And lastly, the people in that constituencies, and there is even another one who has come today. There are so many aspirants. Once you have money, you can run in that constituency, and we will organize one day to have a guest here, and we will speak about that issue. The issue also we have seen with the ODM primaries, because I receive intel from the ground. The people who are fighting, actually there were factions, and the candidates already, they were using pangas, they were using kisus, and they were using rungus, and they were even using live bullets and stones. So it was a very sad scenario, but we know how we'll solve that issue. We will talk about some of this, but what you have to know that constituency is a constituency of interest in the 27 election, because most of our aspirants, they have money, not money in small letters.
And talking about money, because this is an issue that we've always had a discussion over, especially talking about our politics. And one of the pillars, especially that our politics is anchored on, is about commercialization, how the politics is commercialized. That when somebody or when a leader wants to make sure that they get into position, one of the first issue on the list is how much money do I have, and how will I find a way of bribing. There's that commerce, or maybe that amount of money that you can use to facilitate yourself. That is okay, because like it is required in politics, because you have to move from point A to point B. That is money for facilitation. But a point whereby now the money is used to make the voters, or to make those who should participate in election think otherwise. Like their thoughts or their thinking is necessitated by the money that you've given. So that is now what we're talking about, commercialization. Wakenya ni waache kuchukua pesa wanasiasa. Unajua saa zingine kwa sababu saa zingine Wakenya wengi tu labda hawana kazi, na unapata kwamba pesa ambayo inakuja kwa wanasiasa linawapatia kazi. Na jana tulikuwa tunazungumzia jambo ambalo limeleta kazi kama hii, kwamba wanasiasa washajua mfumo ambao wanatumia, kwa sababu labda wakienda bungeni hawajadili mambo ambayo labda inaweza fanya Wakenya wapate kazi. So kwa sababu sasa wawezi weka ama wawezi tafuta mbinu ambazo wanaweza weka Wakenya wapate kazi. So mambo ikifika pahali ambao labda wanaenda, ikifika mambo za siasa, wanatumia pesa ambao wako nayo kuwarai ama kushawishi Wakenya wapende kwamba ni mimi nikichaguliwa ndawapatia kazi. Na labda unapata huyo mtu amekaa hapo kwa hiyo nyadhifa kwa takriban hata miaka 20, hajawahi labda kuleta kazi ama nafasi za kazi kwa vijana ambao anawaongoza. Asante sana. Thank you so much everyone for joining and for your comments. And today we want to talk about Rigathi, and this is a continuation of the discussion that we had yesterday, whereby Rigathi was accusing the president of using the state resources, especially to gain wealth. But today we are looking at, when you look at the kind of politics that Rigathi is, the art of politics that Rigathi has right now, the kind art of politics is using, especially right now, going head on with the president. Because like as we speak today, Rigathi is the only politician who can call out the president, you know? And this was days, I would say that back in the days, it's only Raila Odinga who could do that. But today, Rigathi Gachagua is the one who can call out that. And should this one worry president, Mr. Makobora?
Yes, it should. It should seriously worry him as a president, because when you see someone that you've worked with, someone who has been your deputy, someone who has been in the kitchen, someone who understands what is being cooked in the kitchen, comes out to tell the people how the ingredients and everything that is being cooked.
Yeah.
When the person who is cooking do not really want to know the people, do not want to give the people the information of what they are cooking, the level of anxiousness to the people gets high, and they'll start asking themselves, okay, so watu wanatupikia hii, okay, so we should prepare for this. It is very dangerous for the president.
Yeah.
The move by Gachagua is a dangerous move that can lead to so many things. One, it can actually be the basis or the reason why William Samoei Ruto would be sent home come 2027. It is setting the baseline, because the kind of words, the kind of accusations, the kind of words that Rigathi Gachagua is using, the kind of explanation that is giving, and how he puts, and the tone that he brings all these kind of comments out.
Yeah.
If you're someone who has studied psychology, you'll tell yourself that it could be true. This guy, from the energy, from the tone, and it could be true. And there is a good number of people who are buying this as true. And remember, this is a political move, a political process.
Yeah.
Politics is, political decisions are always emotional driven.
Yeah.
And the kind of emotion that Gachagua sent to the people of Kenya, it is one that is against the president. And the emotion has gotten into the minds of Kenyan citizens, and they're asking themselves so many questions. They're starting to fail or to say that we are not safe with William Ruto as the president. If you ask them why, they'll give you reasons. One, the accusations of corruption, the level of deals which are being made, the level of insincere from the president and people around him, the level of I don't care, the level of, not respecting others and feeling that you are everything, you are alpha and the omega of the Republic of Kenya. These are the fears that are starting to get into the minds of the people of Kenya, and this is making them have an afterthought. This is making them not feel comfortable having William Samoei Ruto as the president. And this, if it continues, it is not going to be safe for the president. He has to come down. If suppose he's on some tree somewhere, he has to come down and listen to the leaders who are speaking or giving out these comments. He has to come down and listen, especially to the issues which are directly touching the wananchi. Because if he doesn't, the people on the ground will assume that truly is a president who do not listen, truly is a president who does not care, truly is a president who cares about his deals and his things. And that is very dangerous in a political process.
Okay, thank you so much. And good. I want to also you to talk about the line of thought that Makobura is and link it to believability, because the words that Rigathi Gachagua is saying and the words that President is saying, and the way in which there's a gap between the people of Kenya and the president, who will be believed to be truthful, the believability. Even maybe if president is coming out to share something that is very truthful or something that actually the development that he is sharing, development that he's doing, and also Rigathi Gachagua will come and counter that. Now you look at the level of believability. Who should people believe?
The people should believe someone who is outside, not inside,
Yeah.
because someone is inside it is a privilege. You cannot know because you don't know what's inside. But once there's someone who has come outside and told us, my friend, there's fire, and we have been seeing smoke. Of course, there have been smokes before, but now the people have come on and say, Miguda, out of the smoke we have been seeing, there's fire inside that house. So we tend to believe someone who is outside, the one whom we are seeing, than believing someone who is inside, because the someone who is inside cannot expose how that heat is. That is why right now we want to do what we have right now, what we got to say. Because whenever they were speaking, they are trying to relate them, and they have very good evidence, because they are telling about the issue of Emedi, and there was a Medi. There's a clip where a Medi came, Rigathi Gachagua received a Medi, and the Medi was handed over to Mr. President. Those things are very clear. You don't need rocket science to believe these things. Then there is this issue of Dubai. And there was a trip in Dubai. People saw AG in Dubai. People saw Ruto in Dubai. Then there was a deal which was struck at Dubai. How, which kind of evidence do you want to believe? Those are the things that are enough for people to believe. We had issues of Adani, and even Ketrako, Opiyo and I signed Ketrako. And until President said that we are done with the Ketrako and the Adani deal, these things are on plain paper. There was also this issue of the Russian, the Romanian. We have had so many issues. Therefore, we believe the people who have come out and told us that actually there's fire inside that house. That is why I think even though there is a disconnect between the leadership of this country and the people, but we understand that there are some people who are outside the leadership. We tend to buy their narrative because they have been part and parcel of that leadership. Then also you talk about the issue of the Kenyan people right now. How are they going to relate what we are being disclosed to us when it comes to election or the issue of electors? I can say that there are some people who are allergic to corruption. Once you mention a certain leader that is corrupt, that there are those section of the people who are going to shift their allegiance immediately against that leader, because if that's who they knew Ruto was, the bishop, the deputy Jesus Christ, is no longer deputy Jesus Christ, is no longer the bro to Jesus. There are those people who are going to shift their allegiance immediately. They have heard that is part and parcel of the corruption deals in the country. That's how I want to say that it has really affected Mr. President. Those revelation, it has affected Mr. President, and he is aware where he's sitting now. He's looking for how he can counter those allegations, because there are those people, once they have heard that Brother Benson is corrupt, that's how they will dissociate their allegiance with you. And that's why I want to tell you that there is an impact, the leadership, and there's an impact, Mr. President. You might just think them that those things were just mere allegations, but those people would have taken them seriously, that we cannot have a president who is tracking deals outside the country, or who is engaged in illegal deals, the issue of DRC, the issue of Sudan, and other issues which are not yet disclosed to the public. There are those who are they are going to immediately shift their allegiance to him. That's why I want to state that even though you have said that who should we believe and the believability, the people, and to understand politics, it's about perception, how you perceive it, or how you relate with your audience. That is why the president will come sometimes to defend those allegations. That's why Mr. President, before he went to Mount Kenya, he talked about the issue of 10 billion. The issue of 10 billion was to cool the people, not to heckle him. That, oh, you are right. You chase him out in the office rightfully. But that's just perception of the politicians. Because someone talks about 7 billion, someone talk about 2 billion. So we don't know the actual figure. It means there was a billion talk, but the actual figure, Mr. President, might just adjust it, that to 10 billion, to capture the attention of the people. What? It was 10 million, really? And maybe it was even 2 billion. So I believe it's just about perception. The way Mr. President has perceived, the way the audience has perceived Mr. President, that's the same very way the audience will perceive what Rigathi Gachagua said. There's no difference between Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua. And people think that they have the monopoly of lying to people, or they have the monopoly of leading people. The same way you have a monopoly of lying to people and capture their attention, the same way other leaders also have that right to capture attention of the people. If people can believe Ruto and vote for him, why can't they believe Gachagua or JB Muturi? The same way, it's about who's believing. So I believe that when we talk about the believability between the people and the leadership, already there's a section of the constituents have already purchased what Rigathi Gachagua said, and that's how they are going to vote. And if you sometimes you should go to the comment sections, even when JB Muturi was speaking, go to comment section when JB Muturi was speaking on the fix the nation, when Rigathi Gachagua was speaking on that issue, go to the comment section and look at the constituents of the younger people, the millennials and the Gen Z. They are saying, we say that we will not vote, but this is the reason why I must vote out Kasongo. So those small utterances aspire other people to go to the ballot to vote against William Ruto. Lastly, we have a challenge, even though we are going to vote Kasongo out, but we have a challenge as a country. Even though we are going to restructure the IEBC and also come up with a new panel, but the problem is, even they know the issue of register. We must do if we can go to this election blindly without revisiting the issue of register, then we are going for a rude shock. We must clean this register and ensure that we have audited register, whereby we don't have ghosts who resurrect on election day and go back to their graves after voting. So we are yet to witness, if at all they can transform it and also give us a new register which has been audited, so that whenever we have the people like the Gen Z and millennials who have said they're going to vote, their vote must count. You don't want people to go and there to vote and their vote's not going to count.
Okay. Brother Benson, I wanted to add some.
Let me. Oh, you wanted to add what?
Yeah, I wanted to add something on what Miguel said, and specifically on this gentleman, JB Muturi.
Yeah.
If you ask me, I've been trying to interrogate and to look at, to interrogate everything that he spoke about. As much as people are saying that he didn't come out at the right time to criticize.
Yeah.
But me, I'm finding myself believing JB Muturi, because we've been in this channel. If you can remember, there's a time before even the Gen Z demonstration.
Yeah.
There's a time that the government would come up with the laws, and these laws would be taken to the court, and then they would be, the court would, annul them. And there was too much pressure from the people, if you can remember. The reason why every now and then, the parliament would pass something, or the government would come up with laws, and then, someone would take these issues to the court, and then they would be nullified.
Yeah.
And you remember there was a pressure from the people, and they asked, what is the role of the AG? Why is it that, laws are being passed and they're being actualized by the government, but, when they are taken to the court for, for weighing whether they are truly whether they have truly followed what the Constitution says, there was an issue. I don't know if you can remember that time.
Yeah, I can remember so many occasions where government used to lose so many cases.
With the Shah, especially when the Shah was coming in, and there was a press that JB, by then he was the Attorney General, and he said that I am doing my work. My work, of course, is to advise the president on legal matters, and it is upon the president, the person that I advise, to take them, whether if he seems or looks at them and see that it is okay, it is better for him and it's going to help. And that is when the problem started between the president and JB. I think maybe the president expected him to defend or say that, that is right. But he came out and he said that it is his work to advise him, and it is upon the role of it is the prerogative of the president to make that decision whether to put them in order or not. And then came the Gen Z's demonstration.
Yes.
When the Gen Z's demonstration came, of course, as per what the Constitution says, the Attorney General was not supposed to be sent home. If there are people who are supposed to remain, it was the Attorney General, the Deputy President, and the President had the prerogative of sending home all the cabinet secretaries, but he decided to even include the AG. And there's an explanation of that if you've been following. There's this lawyer who gave a clear clarification on that. Maybe we'll find that clip on the reason why the Constitution did not allow the president to send AG home. But then I believe, from where I sit, that AG was sent home based on the previous interview or the previous question that he had been asked about his role on why the government was making so many problems, coming up with laws which were not adhering to the law or the Constitution, what the Constitution says. After he was sent home, he was brought back. And I think the president had looked at everything, and maybe in his own mind, he thought that maybe he's not done anything problem. It is me who has done the problem by not following his advice. But again, if you can remember the story of the president, when he was having this story that led to the appointment of the AG, he was told about the AG position, and he was reluctant in taking that, and he gave his reason that he's a strict person, he would follow the law, he would not allow, that might be true to some extent, because the question we are supposed to ask as a people is, why is it that the president found it not easy? Why is it that the president kept on following him, and yet there are other people who can be given that position of the AG? And again, based on the question, on the stories that he gave, that he was supposed to sign some things and he refused, that again tells you something, that the accusations that the president was giving out might be false. They are driven to something. In short, what I'm trying to say is, if you go and follow the stories of JB Muturi, he was removed from this government based on his stand, if you ask me. And personally, from the stories that I've been following, I think his story makes some sense. JB Muturi, to some point, his stories are making sense. It is upon now the president to come out with serious evidence and give the people, because his stories are not adding up, the stories of the president. That is what I can say about that.
Okay. Thank you so much for giving that full illustration. But now, even if the president comes out and give full information, because like even today, based on the allegation that the deputy president gave about the Russia fertilizer that were donated and brought back to, donated, and he was saying that they were repackaged and they were sold. Today, Mudavadi, I think the other day or today, Mudavadi was giving an explanation, and that was an explanation that is coming from government, and you're giving a pushback and explaining, and you want to convince the people that, okay, what you are saying, what former deputy president was saying is not true, but this is the real truth that we are telling you. So that believability, how are people going to believe that? That is one. Then secondly, let's say on a good day, maybe government has done something, or any other ministry has done something that is recommendable, and now you're coming to the public and to let people know that this is what we are doing. Believability, that this is very true what you are saying, not that something that is being cooked or is done for political purposes. You'll talk about that. And again, There's also something that I want to bring Miguda to talk about after believability and how. So when this one is happening and that believability, especially on part of the president and the government, is quite much low, what can the administration right now do to encounter? Because so to make people believe that what they're saying is right, what are the strategies they might put in place for that believability?
That one, it happens in each and every administration, even in our county governments, whereby there's that administrations usually come out to defend the allegations from the people or from the opponents, even when people have pointed out things which are clearly. That's why I told you that they can use PR to respond to the attacks by Rigathi Gachagua and JB Muturi. But there's some revelation which are factual, that we have even evidence, credible evidence, that even if you come to defend, like the issue of fertilizer, you find out that even defending it, it is not easy. Even when Prime CS never came out to defend it, you can, like someone like me, who is a victim of the fertilizer, there is no way you can come and defend that there was no scandal. There was scandal because you talked about it was about, I think, 40, 70. Then if it was 70 metric tanks, 70 fertilizer metric tanks, then it was 70. And you told us that fertilizer, you have reduced it from 6 Ks to 2 Ks. And out of 70 metric tanks, you triple it to 210 metric tanks. So 210 metric tanks, if you distribute it to all farmers at 2 Ks, you are just going to get that 6 Ks out of 70 metric tank. It means that it is still corruption. And in the fertilizers, there were some additional of other things that even the crops were not in accordance with how people expected to harvest. That's why I still believe that corruption is corruption. Even if you try to label it in which manner, it is corruption. There's no better name for corruption. It is just corruption. There was saga in fertilizer, there was. You cannot come and try to wash it or make it look beauty so that you can call it maybe corruption, maybe slay queen corruption. It is corruption. So I still believe that there was corruption. That one we must agree. Then this issue, people say that maybe someone was inside, now he's talking when he's outside. So should he keep quiet because now he's outside? He should not keep quiet. If you are not interested in the information of the government, that is up to you. As for us, we are very much interested in those information. We need to know, even if they were inside or outside. We have a right to know what was happening because sometimes inside they were subjected to some conditions. Like people don't just ask questions like that one because someone like JB Muturi, right now they are going to open for him a lawsuit that he ought to have kept the government secrets. So it means even corruptions are secrets in government that you don't need to reveal them. It means that time when he was inside, there were some conditions that he was compelled that this you have taken an oath of secrecy that you cannot discuss what we have discussed in the cabinet to the public, because they were saying these people, they are revealing the secrets of the cabinet to the public. But I'm no longer cabinet. If I'm no longer cabinet and I feel that it didn't fit to expose what is happening in the government, then you should expose. There's a quite difference between them exposing the government than them going and keeping quiet because they are no longer inside there. That's why I want to maintain my point that even if you try to make it, even if you use administration to counter the attacks, even if you use the PR, what is happening in our county government, that they are using a lot of PR rather than focusing on the real issues that affect the people. What we know is that there's corruption in the government, you cannot deny, and there have been corruption in these governments. Therefore, people must come out and point this corruption. People must come out and talk about this corruption. It's up to you people or up to the administration to look on how you can counter them. But for the people who have been affected, like I've told you, the issue of fertilizer affected me. There's no way you can come and persuade me that there was no saga in fertilizer. There was. You cannot come and also persuade someone who has been affected by the issue of the Adani, though it was cancelled, but before the JKIA staffs were going to be affected. So you cannot go to the JKIA staffs and tell them that no, you haven't affected, you should keep quiet, there is no corruption. There was corruption. That's why I still insist that we need to know, we demand to know whether you are outside or inside. Is your duty to expose the rot in the government.
Okay, thank you so much. And talking about Muchuri, especially the way I feel the government will not take, people will not believe them, even if you're taking Muchuri to courts. Because remember, this is one guy who has been a president or a leader for the arm of government for almost more than 10 years. Yeah. So he's been leading the government, especially in the legislative, for the longest time. So which means he's well aware or is well versed with information even on how the other arms of government are working. Secondly, he became the Attorney General. Yeah. After the Attorney General, he was then given a cabinet slot or a CS slot. So this is somebody that has like a lot of information that he has. And as a lawyer, he knows what to disclose and what not to disclose. Because he's guided. He's somebody that is aware of law and even the processes on how you can declassify. Because like there are those information that are classified information that you are not allowed to say them in the public. They have to be declassified first, because some of the information can be issued to do with the security matters. So I think with his information on law and being somebody who is experienced, that has handled the legislative arm of government, which is a government, so he's very, very careful on what should I share with the public and what should I not share. So if it reaches a point when he goes to court, then that also will also give him an opportunity to bring some other issues. And this one will take government to control, and that believability, the government is going to get it very less. Nobody's going to believe, because even right now, whoever speaks ill about the government will be believed, whether you're lying or you're saying the truth, where people have reached due to that the gap between the government and the people. Provided wewe unasema kitu mbaya kuhusu serikali,
on the same note, yeah. I was just watching a clip here where the former Secretary General of UDA, Honorable Cleopas Malala, I'm not so sure if he's been arrested, but I'm seeing so many things on social media.
Yeah, I'm seeing it's trending.
That he was actually being arrested, and the reason being, he had written a play by the title Echoes of War.
Butere Girls.
For Butere Girls.
Yeah.
And what I'm seeing is that this angered the first lady, and so he was being arrested. And I think such kind of things, when citizens are coming out to point out the inabilities of a government, the best thing the government should do is look into those issues and then try work on those issues.
Yeah.
But if they're trying to counter in a manner that instead of solving these problems, they are going for the citizens who have given that information to the people. That is the worst strategy of the political class, and this is going to bring this government down. That I can confirm to you. I have been moving within Nairobi, I've been moving within Kiambu County, I have been interacting with people. I'm telling you, the level of hunger that is in the people of Kenya, the citizens of the Republic of Kenya, if you hear those who are being paid, getting their pay slips, if you hear the kind of raid that they've experienced in their own pay slips, if you hear how, even people who are not concerned, there is a group of Kenyans who have never bothered with what is happening in the field of politics. As much as politics influences our life and our daily activities, there is this group of people who have never got an interest and they don't want to participate. And you'll never hear them that they woke up to go and vote. This time round, that silent group have also been touched, and they're saying that the president touched me, and they're giving you reasons why they feel that they were touched. Some of them are saying that he came to my payslip, and now I'm unable to, continue with my daily lives the way I'd planned myself. Some of them are saying that he has taken too much money from my payslip, to build houses that, there's no guarantee and there's no one who is giving you for free. And this has really angered the people of Kenya. They are paying for SHA. If they go to hospitals, they can't access medical services. And this has angered the people. There's high rate of relatives and friends calling these people who are working, and consistently they're telling them that, what, someone is sick, kindly assist. The level of dependency has gotten high. Their pay slips have been raided, and this is a concern to them. And what they're saying this time around is, I will get out to vote just because I've been touched at a personal side. And this is not, what they wanted. In short, what I'm saying is, whoever is advising the president, I think they should do it better, because there's a lot of resistance that is coming from the people when it comes to, the services that the government is claiming to be giving to them, and yet on ground things are totally different. And this is a concern. Let the government and its ministries and people concerned get to the ground and solve the problems which are directly affecting the people. If they do so, the kind of revolution that I'm seeing coming, I'm not a prophet, it will come if they don't look into those issues which are directly touching the wananchi.
Okay, thank you so much. And let me take this opportunity to welcome Linolot in our discussion. Thank you so much, and be part of the discussion. And that's what we just mentioned is still bringing us to what we call the believability. How can you make a Kenyan believe that the SHA is working? How can you make believe? And when talking about the advisors, this is where I was thinking about this way, like the people who have been given the mandate to advise the president, actually, should we say that they're the problem? Because these are the people who have gone through. They're not ordinary people. These are people who have degrees. So these are people who have diploma. They are experts in various areas, and they're told to advise the president. If now things are not working, who should we blame? And when somebody comes argue that I wish now I don't want to go to school, because the people who have gone to school and have been given the mandate in terms of advising the president, people are asking, where is the problem? They see all this corruption is happening. They're not coming out to talk about it. Yeah. So that believability and what our friend has just mentioned about advising the president. Now, let's come to messaging, because one of the greatest undoing right now, especially when it comes to the government right now, the messaging is not done well. The messaging that can convince, because you find that when Rigathi Gachagua speaks, Rigathi Gachagua tend to convince more people based on how he outlined his messaging. And if you're very keen, especially when Rigathi Gachagua goes anywhere or is addressing people, he has written down points, which make him not to lose his trail of thought. Whether what you ambush him or what, his trail of thought is usually intact, especially because he has that written and delivers messages.
Brother Ben, do you remember Mutua, the former governor of Machakos, when he served as the spokesperson of Kibaki's government? And I think he did well. Mutua really did well as a spokesperson for the government. And if you can remember, he would come out and give clarification almost on, after, I'm not so sure how long it would take, but I can remember it was almost consistent. And, he would come out and give clarification of what the government was doing and what they were planning to do. And that was okay. As much as, of course, issues to do with corruption were still there, they were there, yes, but at least there was a communication coming from the government side. Again, in the government of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, at some point, he would always come out and give some address and, tell the people that, what, this is our stand, these are the things that we are doing. But again, of course, corruption issues were still there. But it's quite different in this government of William Samoei Arap Ruto. I understand, and I'm being told that the spokesperson is one Hussein Mohammed. I've never seen him. No, not really. Not that is not Hussein. Is Mwaura. Mwaura.
Yeah.
And that Mwaura, really, Mwaura. Have you ever seen, the message? What Mwaura talks about? Is he really okay? Have you seen Mwaura coming out to give explanations? And even what he talks about, you ask yourself if he's okay. I think Kenya can do better. We have competent people who can always can be given these jobs. I've seen Mwaura, hold pressers, and if you hear the things which are coming out from, his mouth, you ask yourself, is this how, yani, he talks? Ni kama is giving commands, he talks without giving any explanation, without giving any justification. And then he tells you that that person who said that thing does not know, he's not in government, and then you ask yourself, these are people who are being paid by the taxpayers' money.
But Makubura, not only, you see, like the problem that I'm saying is this, not only Mwaura, because like when you're in organization, there must be one channel of communication where the communication emanate from. Then people speak with one voice. Like today, if the allegation that were laid on the state by the Rigathi Gachagua, it was not supposed to take the foreign ministry or the foreign CS, Musalia Mudavadi, to respond. The person who was supposed to respond should be Mwaura. And what he should do,
he does not have, it could be doesn't have the facts. There's a time I was hearing that he was being paid and he did not have any facts from the government, and so he was unable to, speak.
Yeah. So,
and, that's the spokesperson of the Republic of Kenya for the.
So what happens is that he's the only person who can bridge the government and the people and let the people know what is taking place, or anytime any accusation is leveled against the president or the state, because he speaks for the government, you are like the bridge that connects the government and the people. So coming to a situation that where we have today, what we have today, especially concerning Rigathi Gachagua, because we are looking at how dangerous is becoming to the president, even with his administration, on how when it comes to messaging and delivering messages to the people, you find that he connects well with the people as compared to how government connects with the people. Yeah. So how can president encounter that messaging and make sure that everything that they give to the people is more satisfying as compared to what Gachagua is outside the government right now is giving? Miguda, what is your take on the messaging and encountering that messaging part of Rigathi Gachagua, especially from president and his administration?
The messaging, I can say it is perfect because the way it's being perceived by the people, but you also have to understand that fighting Rigathi Gachagua is a waste of time because Rigathi Gachagua has nothing to lose. Mr. President has a duty to take care of the country because he is mandated by the Constitution to make sure that the service delivered to the people. There's that national unity whereby he is a symbol of national unity. But Rigathi Gachagua has nothing to lose. Therefore, by you going again to fight Rigathi Gachagua, you are losing your time because with him, you got nothing to lose. At the same time, you find out that Rigathi Gachagua is well connected with the people because of how he's delivering his message, being a student of literature, same
Did we lose you, Mr. Miguda?
time being a student, like
Okay, there's a problem with. I hope Miguda will be coming back as we continue to have a discussion
articulate.
about. Okay, go ahead.
He knows how to articulate its issues. That's why they are a headache to this current administration, and that's why I can say that whenever Rigathi Gachagua is speaking or Natembe is speaking, look at them. Both of them do have the writings. They have what they have wrote so that they cannot lose the flow of thoughts from their speech, and that's why whenever they speak to an extent that they resonate so well with the people. They understand what people want to hear and what people need, and they understand also the time, right?
Yep.
They know that it is not possible for the government to carry everything, and now they know what people want. They understand how the economy should be run, and they understand they know right now this government is unpopular on this basis, and those are the basis when they go to the people they try to address, and that is why that poem which was written by the Cleo Malala, it speaks to the heart of the people, and that
Yeah.
these people knows very well on what to do, and that's why I can tell you that I can just say that the people who have a task is the government, because you are dealing with a person who has nothing to lose, and you as a government you want to persuade people that indeed whatever the person is saying, those are just mere allegations, and if at all he believes them, he can come out to substantiate. And that's why I told you that if there was credible evidence, and each of you, even some of us, have access, it
Yeah.
means that it is their duty now to come and respond to those allegations which have been laid against them by the JB Muturi and the Rigiji. But Rigiji, that there are things that someone is gifted. For example, Rigiji is just gifted. Brother Benson, the people who usually turn out to vote, or the electorates, majority of them are the people who are commoners or lesser. These people, the technocrats, these learned people, or the people who they don't turn out. In fact, they don't care. They don't even answer. They don't care about how politics. Those are nonsensical to them. Those are silly billy if you ask them. But if you ask the people like a farmer, mtu wa kinyozi, mtu wa randa, hawa watu wa ground, fundi wa kiatu, these people are the people who have taken these things seriously, because their economy is hitting them directly qua ground. And Rigathi Gachagua, whenever he's speaking, is touching the heart of these people, of these commoners. He is touching the heart of boda boda, mamboga, kiatu, all these people you are seeing, hawkers, they know how to communicate to their heart, mkulima, and that's why Natembe is getting it right in Tanzania, because when it comes to the issue of fertilizer and also the seeds, he's distributing them personally per ward. And whenever he's distributing those fertilizers and seeds, he's touching them direct, that huyu ndiye anajua maslahi yetu, huyu ndiye anajua maslahi yetu. That's why it's very hard to deal with these people, because they have all time, like Rigathi Gachagua, he got no office to attend to. He got no mandate to apply. He has all time to meet people. He can decide to meet people at Wamunyoro whenever he want to. He can go even to 5 channels in a one day, because he's not committed to do anything. So, and you are a president, you're supposed to be State House, you're supposed to go to maybe United Kingdom, you're supposed to chair cabinet meeting, and you want to fight this person. That's why I tell that it is not easy to fight those two people, unless also you have decided to abandon your duty at the head of state, and now you focus on the politics.
Yep. Okay, thank you so much. And I want you also to put in consideration when you're looking at Rigathi Gachagua. People usually talk about their easy experience in politics, but I tend to disagree, because look at Rigathi Gachagua. This is somebody who worked with Dio. He worked with Moi, and working as a Dio is somebody who is in the government. Immediately after retiring, he came back, went to the business, worked with Uhuru Kenyatta for quite long time, especially as a PA. And remember, by the time he was working with Uhuru was a prime minister, I think, until he came back to politics. And when he came back to politics, 5 years, then 2 years in the core, especially in the core of the country, especially second in command. So one thing that he has advantage over so many politicians, even though they might say that he's not experienced, but he's somebody who has consumed the intelligence of the country. He knows. He has somebody who has built friends. From the time he was DO, from the time he came work with the Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta as a PA, from the time he came and was in the parliament, now for the few days that or few years he was in the executive. So he might have built his own friends who are in the government. So when there's something that went wrong, something is going wrong, or there's a deal that is taking place, he will get the information. Yeah, my friend is talking about the connection. He has that connection within the government. So anything that goes wrong, he be informed, and he might say it in the public because the state where he is right now. And remember how Raila Odinga used to be very powerful, and each and every day that Raila Odinga would come and say what is happening in the government. I can remember days when we talk about Sargasiang and Margayang, the Mamluki. Remember those days? Who knew that Mamluki were there? But the only person who came, Mamluki. And from that pronouncement, people started to get interested, and that's what has given Raila the name of the opposition leader. Yeah, that's why it's called the opposition leader, because always he would come with information that people do not know. But now Rigathi Gachagua has taken that position. And how is President going to make sure that Rigathi Gachagua is not going to maintain with this? Because now he's the opposition leader, overtaken even Kalonzo.
Let me add one thing, Brother Benson. Let me add one thing there. I wanted to say that you understand that even though people try to underrate Rigathi Gachagua, it is fine. Let them underrate him. But remember also, he is the first person. He came from MP of Madeira to deputy president directly. He took shortest time possible to be the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. Unlike even William Ruto was MP, he was minister.
Oh, Prince Igwe Okechi, thank you so much for watching. Joining our
remember, had no any political party, and Rigathi Gachagua, without any political party, one-term MP, he challenged all his colleagues, and he became the deputy president, the second deputy president of the Republic of Kenya after the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution. He was the second deputy president, and you can't underrate that person, and you cannot outrule that person that is inexperienced, that is a first-term MP. But if he's inexperienced at first-term MP, what about those people who have been there for a long time? Why could they position themselves to take the deputy president position? So, in my view, just underrate Rigathi Gachagua at your own peril, but bearing in mind that people think that he started living when the time he was the MP for Madeira. Rigathi Gachagua was there even in the time of Moi, and he was in the administration. He was there at the time of Kibaki, and he was in the administration. You understand these things. The fact that he was never elected to parliament doesn't make him less experienced when it comes to in terms of politics. People are outside here. There are many people who are good politicians, but they haven't gotten opportunity. So when they get opportunity, they can serve effectively. That's why I want to say that never underrate that guy because he was impeached. He can make a comeback. People usually align with the people who have been victimized.
Okay, thank you so much. And another history that people will always remember Rigathi for is about the process of impeachment and how the impeachment was done. And that is going to be a history in the. It will be a history, and history in this way because it was the very first time in our time or in our country where the test of the 2010 Constitution was being tested and its elasticity. How stretched can it be? So that was one. And again, it was testing how the democracy itself, how the democracy works. Remember how the printing took place, the gazettement of if everything could have been done the way the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua was done, I think as a country, we could have been very, very far. So it also, having Rigathi Gachagua also made us to know or to expose some of the challenges that we are facing as a country, and how sometimes the democracy, what we call democracy, how it doesn't exist, gentlemen. And I know we've discussed so much about Rigathi Gachagua. There's something that Rimiguda mentioned about the IEBC. And today, if you check in the news, there were a list of some staffs or some members that were introduced, and people were complaining about it. Miguda, what can you say about that? Do you have any information about it?
If you can hear me.
Yeah.
You were asking about the people complaint or the people who were selected?
No, there was a list. Remember, if you are very keen, there was a list of interview, the people who are not in the interview, but now they were brought late. They were not on the shortlisted. Oh, let me check and confirm and come up with a clear indication, because like I was reading, and that's what it was. Let me just look it and maybe.
Okay, yeah, maybe before you get into that conversation of IEBC,
yeah,
something else that we should not, I thought we should also give our views on is the issue of CS Murkomen saying that Gachagua and JB Muturi should be arrested. And also, I saw the same comments or sentiments coming from the member of parliament from Homa Bay town, that is Honorable Opondo Kaluma.
Yeah. So let me, before we contribute on Opondo Kaluma, this is what I would tell Opondo Kaluma. One, you are a member of parliament. There are committees in the parliament. The first thing that you should do as a member of parliament, go to parliament, bring a motion to bring them to appear before the relevant committees. You don't call for his arrest, but through the committees, you can get information of that. That is the work of the parliament. Through their committees, you've been given that power. Instead of even writing it on the social media, you have that power. Call those gentlemen to parliament. Wakikata, then you can issue order as a committee for those members to be arrested. The parliament has that power, especially if you don't appear before the committee. They can issue order of arrest, and you can be arrested for that and charged. Yeah, so that is one thing that I would say about the Opondo Kaluma issue. And maybe before you come about Murkomen too, anyway, let's continue.
I wanted to, let me first start with the Murkomen. Murkomen should know one thing. If he is the cabinet secretary in charge of internal affairs or whatever, he's not superior to anyone in the Republic of Kenya. He's not superior to the law. There are laws. There's a constitution. There are way things are done. And we've been in this republic. We know what the constitution says. If a government is not run in the right manner that is exposing the country, any Kenyan can come out and, speak about it. There are relevant, authorities who are supposed to be investigating. There is a government in place, and the people who are giving this kind of comments are from the government. So if they think that they have something that is either hidden or they don't want the public to know, they should come out and tell us. It is not the role of whistleblowers to go and present themselves to be arrested. No. And again, they should not threaten the people of Kenya or anyone who has anything against a government that they feel is not performing well. On maybe my take on the member of parliament from Homa Bay town, that is Honorable Kaluma. I don't understand what is wrong with Opondo Kaluma as a member of parliament. I don't know what he has been promised by this government, I don't know why he seems to be speaking on behalf of KK government. But one thing I can tell him is that being a member of parliament is not the end of life. And also being a member of parliament is not a guarantee or does not give him any privilege to be any super citizen of the Republic of Kenya. This is Kenya, there's a constitution, there are rights of the people of Kenya. Anyone who feels that they have anything they want to say about a government that they elected, a leadership that they elected, they are free to come out and speak about it. And if they want facts, they should. Those people would go and give them the facts. He's not, and he does not have any authority to tell who is supposed to be arrested and who is not supposed to be arrested in the Republic of Kenya. The level of sycophancy that we've started seeing in him is on another level. He should tame himself. He's not a spokesperson for the KK government. There are relevant people who are supposed to do so. And that is why I'm saying Opondo Kaluma should also respect his people and the people who elected him and also the people of Kenya. If he feels or thinks that there are people who are not, do not have the freedom of speech and him he has, then maybe he's on another level or he's on another planet. We are Kenyans. The constitution is very clear. These are people or leaders that we elected. We woke up very early in the morning to go and give our votes or to vote for them. We have all the rights to come out and criticize when we feel so. We have all the rights to come out and point out all the inabilities. We have a right to come out and point out everything that we feel they're not doing in a right manner. And any leader should not come out and tell us that we should not speak about the issues. The other day, I also saw Atuoli coming out and saying that social media and online whatever should be regulated. There's nothing that they will regulate, and if they want to do so, they are touching on the arts of the Kenyan youths. If they have failed as leaders, they should just leave those seats that they are holding, because there are people who can do well in those positions. You cannot tell us that you want to regulate social media, you want to regulate the freedom of speech in social media. Who do they think they are? The spaces that they are holding should be left for young people to also enjoy those positions. Yes, there's a comment here from Miguda. I'll give you a chance to also give your take on the comments of Member of Parliament of Homa Bay Town, Opondo Kaluma, coming out to tell the people that Gachagua and JB Muturi should be arrested based on all the comments, the pressure that they had, and the information that they gave the people of Kenya. What is your take on that? You can give us your take on that as well.
If you can hear me, I just want to say some things here. Number one, I want to say that legislature, he has got no authority to warrant any arrest to anybody. The person who has authority to warrant arrest to the people. So he's a senior counsel, he's a lawyer, he knows that, and he should keep off. CS Murkomen want to arrest people because of mere allegation. We will also arrest him because when he was the CS for transport and infrastructure, that is when we had the Adani deal. We will also question him, why did he strike that deal with the Adani people without involving the public? There was no public participation. So before you point out someone, we should look at the history. Murkomen is also, people also wanted him to question. You will need to appear before Parliament to answer questions during what happened with the Adani deal and Ketraco. So let him not threaten people that he want to arrest people, but he will be arrested first before he arrests other people. This issue of people thinking that because they are in higher position or because they have the protection of the state and the police, now their rights supersedes everybody's right. Now they can with them. No, the problem here is they think that they're the only people who are supposed to speak. They're the only people who are supposed to go online, because with them, they depend on online, like they depend on those social media to advertise or to tell the people what the government is doing and the progress of the government. But when you use the same platform to critique the government, then you are going to be arrested. Then when you use the same platform to critique the government, then we will arrest you. But them, they are also beneficiaries of social media. This social media is a two-way traffic. It benefits government, it benefits the people. It benefits the government, it benefits the critics. And the another thing also, they want to limit people. They want to regulate people. It is, yeah, I just want to tell them that if you must regulate people, regulate people's brain. Look, you cannot really regulate people's brain. You cannot control people's brain. Now you can't have it. So do whatever you want to do. Regulate social media, fine. Arrest people, fine. But even in those cells, people will still have. If you have made a decision, no one can control your mind. No one can regulate your mind, provided you are on the right course. So I believe
Okay, thank you, Migoda. To our viewers, this is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you're new to this channel, kindly just like and subscribe. If you do so, it is a way of supporting us, and we'll really appreciate. We do have this kind of conversations. These are conversations which are geared towards, empowering our people and also letting the people of Kenya know where we are as a people. We do have these conversations so that the people of Kenya can also find a place to give their views. And these views, of course, they are all geared towards the betterment of our country. So I'm kindly requesting everyone who is watching to just like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll really appreciate. You were giving your last remarks, and then I don't know, your network seems to be having a problem. Miguda? Okay, maybe before he comes in,
can you hear
allow
from
me.
me? Can you hear from me? Can you hear
Yes,
from me?
proceed. Proceed now. We
I
can
don't
hear
know
you.
why my network is making. If it makes any problem, kindly alert me. You alert me. I was saying that there's a problem. This problem that if I'm in the government, I'm the only person who is having the freedom of expression. I'm only the person who's having the freedom of using social media. But anybody who uses social media to critique me, or anybody who uses the freedom of expression to critique me, we are going to arrest you. We are going to abduct you. We are going to kill you. We are going to detain you. Threats. That's the problem we have in this country. And I'm always sad because the same people used to threaten us when they are in government, they are also outside right now. They are being threatened. So the people who are threatening people right now in the government, your days are numbered. One day you'll be outside, and the public will threaten you. The public will arrest you. So let us agree that if it's a freedom of expression or a freedom of using social media, it cut across, be it you are in government or outside government. That one must be taken into consideration. That's why I say that legislature and that CS, they don't have mandate to issue warrant of arrest to anybody. We know the relevant body that is mandated by the law to issue warrant arrest to the people. Therefore, they let them stick to their duties as a lawmaker, let them stick to their duties as a law enforcement body, but let them not come and try to interfere with the duties of other people, and also let them not come and infringe the rights of the people. Because the same social media the people use to critique the government, the same social media the government is also using for adverts, the same social media the government is using to explain to people the progress of the government. So it is only offense when it is being used by the citizen to critique, but it's not offense when the government uses it to advert for its progress. That's why I still believe that let us not try to reduce people that you want to regulate this, you want to unless you regulate the brain of the people. That is when you can get it. But if you cannot regulate people's brain, then you cannot manage people. There's no way you are going to control people.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Miguda. And there's a comment here from Gitonga, a good friend, is saying that, thank you, Mark, Miguda, and Brother Benson. I love your channel, so educative and no tribalism. May Allah guide, protect, and bless you abundantly. Thank you so much, Gitonga. That was a nice compliment. We really appreciate. That is so nice. We don't take that for granted. Yeah, here we don't talk about tribe and tribalism. What we are talking about are issues affecting the people of Kenya. Whether you're coming from the northeastern, whether you're coming from the southeastern, whether you're coming from the coast, western, eastern, central, whichever part, we are Kenyans. We have one president. When the president make laws, or when members of parliament make laws, these laws affect any Kenyan in whichever part of the Republic of Kenya. When there is a problem with our education system, it affects the entire country. And that is why we are not talking about tribe, we are not talking about section of the country, but we are talking about the Republic of Kenya. We are pointing both positive and negative things, whether in northeastern province, whether in coast, whether in Nyanza, whether in which part of the country. And again, we are not politically aligned. We are giving our take based on what we are seeing, not based on tribe, but we are giving it openly from our art. More of what we are doing here is, of course, geared towards changing the lives of the people of Kenya, whether from which side of the Republic of Kenya. Thank you so much, Gitonga, for that nice compliment. We really, really appreciate. And again, to our viewers, if you're new, kindly like and subscribe to the channel, and we will really appreciate. Miguda, maybe before I let you go, the last thing that I want us to talk about is the issue of Nyamira County. We just the other day, when the governor appeared before the Senate, he gave a revelation that is really shocking. And he said that there are 2 county assemblies which are operating in Nyamira County. And again, there was some questions to the governor about his education, because whatever was written in his biography was not really true. And so my question to you is, when we have 2 county assemblies in one county, remember this, we are being told that they are all making laws and they are all influencing whatever is happening in that county. At long last, the people who are not getting the services are the citizens of Nyamira County. And so my question to you is, personally from where I sit, I see, and I would advise that the relevant, the Senate, to just request through, of course, the governor, that county be dissolved, so that election is held, and that the people of Nyamira would then get the opportunity to get the services just like other counties within the Republic of Kenya. What is your take? Because I saw yesterday these 2 county assemblies operating from different places within the county were they were summoned to the Senate, and they had the discussion and it was not solved. The people of Nyamira elected leaders so that issues to do with infrastructure would be sorted. Education for their children would be sorted. Good services from the government they would receive good services. But this is not really happening, because we have 2 speakers, we have a group of MCAs, some of them are allied to a specific speaker, some of them to another. What does that tell you as a Kenyan? And is that really fair? What is the best way to solve the problem that is affecting the people of Nyamira County?
I believe first, you understand me, I'm a person who travels a lot, and I travel frequently in the country. Actually, I was at Nyamira December, and I even met the Nyaribo. You are calling Nyaribo. It is true that there are two county assemblies operating independently in Nyamira County. And the problem with Nyamira people, Makubura, you need to understand the terrain of that region, the Gusii region. You know, Nyamira came out from Kisii. People, for a long time, it has been a Kisii district. And people believe that Kisii County is the Gusii region, but people have been ignoring the Nyamira. Even people say, I'm coming from Kisii, but not Nyamira. Now, when the government were devolved and they were subdivided into two counties, that is the Nyamira and Kisii, you find that people also still look at people are focused on Kisii and people have underbanned Nyamira. That is why you can even have your deals in Nyamira without people noticing you because of the remoteness nature of it. If you go deep down into Nyamira, I may have gone even into the remote part of it. I understand the terrain very well. Even I've passed where Matiangi's home is, the former governor's home is. They're just almost next to each other. And there is a way you cannot understand that if you are in Kisii County and Nyamira, you will only focus on Kisii. And that's why from time immemorial, people have been focusing on the Kisii governor and the Kisii County, but ignoring Nyamira. Nyamira is just like if you have a county in Kuria and Migori, so you have Migori County and Kuria County. People tend to focus on Migori than Nyamira. That is why it is very possible for them to operate two county assemblies and not easily because of the remoteness nature of it. Another thing, the population of Nyamira. Many people are in rural, and it is the large population of the people are in rural, and most of them are not informed. Most of them they have not received civic education to understand how the county government operate independently. That's why you find some people still operate from Kisii and they are resident of Nyamira. They still subscribe to the Kisii County and their services they are doing Kisii County rather than focusing on Nyamira as a county. And some of them have also paid allegiance to the Kisii County. That's why this Nyamira governor, you cannot even understand him. Another thing, the people who are a bit elites in the
Miguda,
in
okay, continue. We
can
had
you hear me?
lost you. Yes, continue.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, if you lost me, you remind me. There are people who are elites in that county, and they have been given big positions in that county. They understand how the county operate. Now they have subjected a governor. A governor is just like their puppet. They're the one who are controlling the governor, and they are those people who are, I can call them the the most rich people in the county. And even if you visit their residence, they have massive, they have vast tracts of land. And even in terms of properties, they are holding more people. So we have few people, individuals, who are at capacity to access the service of the county government and who are employed. But majority of the residents are languishing in abject poverty. That could be the reason that why they were identified in the Senate that why have you decided to operate two county assemblies independently? That friction between the pro-governor and anti-governor must come, and they have to establish different assemblies to an extent that is a different assemblies acting in the same counties. Like Nyamira has been divided into two. That's why I told that the problem is within the county. It's not something that it is something as it has been imported or something foreign. And I believe that now they have been brought into map and it should be resolved. And the issue of dissolving the county, that's why I told you this issue of dissolving counties and merging counties is a question that Kenya should discuss. Not only counties, but also constituencies. You know, you understand there are some constituencies whereby there are more people and they need to be divided so that we can have at least two. And there's some constituency with few individuals. We need to merge them with other constituencies so that we can merge and we can dissolve others. We merge or we create new ones. If it comes to that time when people will dissolve even counties, I believe that Nyamira can be dissolved and it can go back to Kisii for its operational, even the geographical region, because they were divided. They're receiving more revenue from county government, but now how they are going to develop this county is not possible because to them it is too much and it's being divided among leaders. It's not being divided into regions or to the people. That's why I still believe that the idea which was in the BBI, there were some good ideas in BBI that there are some counties that ought to be dissolved and there are some counties that ought to be merged or constituencies because we ought to have focus on the people and the resources. Because you can find, for instance, there was no need of having Nyamira and Kisii County. But if you look at the population, the people have moved to urban center, that is Kisii Town. And most of the people who have remained in Nyamira County, they are in rural areas, the good number of them. And the people in the urban centers are fewer. So you understand that most of the skillful people are moved to a certain county, permanent residents. That's why I still believe that if it could have been merged, they could have not have these issues of people establishing two county different assemblies to exercise their government operations. Other than they should focus on one county, which is going to deliver service to the people. At the same time, when we are doing that, we must ensure that now we must also devolve money from national to county. Now, because currently they are receiving 50%, they can even increase it to 35% or 45% to counties because it is now making sense. Because the fact that we have merged some counties and some have been devolved and merged, it means now there are more people in the Kisii County, unlike when there were two counties. So if you increase that 15% to 35, 45, it's now going to cater for these two counties together, and that's what's going to make sense for the people. So I think even though we are somewhere, but we still need to discuss this issue of increasing amount to counties. At the same time, we should discuss this issue of dissolving and merging.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Miguda. Thank you. That was nice. Something else that there's a question here from our good friend Gypsy Corner is asking, did we have 8 counties now turned for 7 counties? No, there were provinces. Gypsy Corner, we had 8. That was Nairobi province, there was Central province, there was Northeastern, there was Eastern, there was Coast province, there was Nyanza province, there was Western province, there was of course Rift Valley. Yeah, those are the provinces that we had, and part of that is what was divided and gave us the 47 counties, which are currently headed by the governors and assisted by
Makobura, Makobura, if I can just correct you there, it is very important for it to go on the record that we never had what you have just posted on the screen. We never had 8 counties before. We had 8 provinces. But what we have before was districts. It was 47 districts. These counties have not merged from provinces. These counties have merged from the districts. We have 47 districts. So the 47 districts is the one which were turned into 47 counties. But provinces were later turned into regional, whereby we have some regionals and we have regional commissioners. That one must be understood.
Okay, very well. Thank you. Yeah, so part of the provinces are the ones that I've mentioned. That was Nairobi province, there was Eastern province, Central province, Northeastern province, Coastal province, Western province, there was Nyanza province, yeah, and also the Rift Valley province. Yeah, so that is a clarification that we've made. I think Gypsy Corner, you're now you've gotten that explanation very well. Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Miguda, something else that I wanted us to talk about during the government of Mzee Moi, I really did not. I wasn't, of course, I was there, but I did not have the right memory or the right mind to capture things, especially things to do with politics. But we do read history, and there are clips, political clips, giving us a good explanation of how Moi ruled. And in that government, there was a guy called the Turtle Man. From what I've read and what I've seen in social media and, all those documentaries, the Turtle Man used to be the right-hand man of Mzee Moi. And as much as Moi was the president, the Turtle Man also behaved like one because he had too much powers. And he would, from what we are reading, he would make decisions which would then, influence the running of government of Moi in those years. And there's so many Kenyans who cried and they mentioned the name of the Turtle Man. And they said that he was a ruthless person who would not really, allow anyone to criticize the government, or anyone who would be seen trying to, give comments which are not really right about the government. He would actually deal with that individual. And there are so many accusations and the deaths of so many politicians, those who are seen as either clever politicians or those who had political ambitions, future political ambitions, or those who wanted to become presidents. From what we are reading and the clips we are seeing, it is said that is the one who tamed them. We are seeing the same behavior in the government of William Samoei Ruto. And there's a gentleman that, people are talking about it. The Republic of Kenya are talking about it. The impeached deputy president spoke about him. And he said, remember that Gachagua was the deputy president. And according to him, he's saying that, he was even getting instructions from this gentleman called Kibet. And, we are being told he's the PA of the president. And maybe the question we are asking is, you, Migura, as someone who has knowledge in law, does the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya clarifies or give duties or functions that are supposed to be performed by the PA of the government? Does he or she have the powers to, behave like a co-president, to give maybe lectures to cabinet secretaries or people around the president? Maybe something else that you can give us, you just give us your explanation on. If you listened to Rigathi Gachagua in his comments describing who the PA of the president is and how he behaves and how he lectures people around the president and how he makes the decisions, and he even mentioned that he is like a co-president and the people of Kenya did not actually elect him, my question to you is, which kind of leadership does the PA maybe portray to the Republic of Kenya? Or what does it teach us as a people? Is it the return of the Turtle Man who used to be there in the government of Moi? Is this a replica of the same? And why is it that this PA of the president is feared and respected by almost, even the cabinet secretaries? I saw a clip yesterday of the Minister of Finance being, do I say, I don't know. I've seen members of parliament being lectured by this gentleman, the PA, in clips. I saw the one I'm mentioning of yesterday, the CS of finance. He was being shown the way by, what is your take, gentlemen? Are we back in the olden days? Is the PA of the president running as a co-president? Is it the deputy president lecturing people around? What is your take?
Maybe before Miguda comes in, talking about Farouk Kibet, and I hope is the PA for president. If the long history of Farouk Kibet and president, they have a long history.
Maybe you can increase your volume kidogo.
Oh, you cannot hear me?
Oh, get closer to the.
Oh, Mike.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, proceed.
Okay, thank you so much. And Farouk Kibet has long history with the president. There were times back in the days, like if you read their history, try to dig around, they were not they were not as bad as that they are. But like as time goes, they become friends, and people have spoken about Farouk Kibet not when the president, President William Ruto is president. It was something that was in the public domain, especially within the political class, even when he was the deputy. But now, when it comes to presidency, the more the president gets powers, the more also he gets powers. And if you are very keen, especially where president is, he tends to command uh, uh, the scene. Remember, it happened with Orengo. Remember when they went to that Raila Odinga Stadium in Siaya, when they were launching and people were disorder. He came out, remember, in Garissa. Recently, if you're very keen, check on Embu Governor, Cecily Marire, and also there's this clip that is going on around the media with the CS for Treasury Mbadi. In each and every administration, there are, we call them the PA, and each and every person have the PA. They are the people who actually accessibility is granted by them. But for Farouk Kibet is kind of like quite much different with others, because based on what Rigathi Gachagua is saying, is a powerful person, because Rigathi Gachagua also accused him of trying to run his office. Later, he came to realize that you had to pay for services, especially if you're supposed to see the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. And people are comparing it to Biwott, which I tend to disagree. They are quite much different personality, because Biwott was very powerful but very quiet, And again, Biwott was a politician, and Biwott also was very calculative in his moves, because this was a guy who you would not. It's very rare to see him engaging in the public. Maybe his powerfulness was just people would feel his powerfulness within the corridors of power, but not in the public. Because Farouk Kibet is one person that, even if you're very keen, you're following up on the Mount Kenya tour, there was a point whereby he had to take a camera from a cameraman to take a shot at the people. So you don't know what was the main reason, whether he was taking photos of those who are heckling the president, or is taking those who are very happy that president has come, So they are quite, with Biwott is quite much different. But now, when it comes to leadership, that's why now, where like you find our countries usually have challenges, because as per Rigathi Gachagua, him and Dennis Itumbi, these are the people who controls the government, So, and if you look at their portfolio, they're not in the payroll. And how do they make those decisions? So it means leadership-wise, we still have a long way to go. But as much as we are saying that the Constitution has given us power and the offices and the power within those offices, but we still don't obey or respect the spirit of Constitution and law. That is what I would take. Maybe Miguda, that's my thinking.
I just want to be frank with you, Makobura. When it comes to the rank of the presidency, I don't understand. That's why I've been avoiding talk about this, because I don't get them well. Because if you are a blogger, if you are a whatever you call yourself, a PA, in the rank you are a junior nobody. A junior nobody in the ranks cannot come and lecture the public that you must register for SHA. You must register for SHA. Lazima mpange vile mnazaa. They keep saying. So who are you?
We've lost Miguda. And Makobura, before even Miguda comes, because like I think he has a problem. And now you look at the presidency, or the presidency, we are looking at the office of the president and the office of the deputy president. That is the executive, is the presidency. How should we handle the presidency? And when you combine it with what Miguda is saying, like you're just a PA, you're not a state officer, you're not a civil servant, you're just a PA to the president. So how do we handle presidency? Because even if you're very keen, you could see even on how he organized around the president, especially when it comes even to crowd management, he would try to be at the forefront. So you look at the presidency, how do we classify the presidency? What role does it play? And everybody's just quiet. And if you go to the videos, especially there are videos that the UDA members of parliament at some point, including even the CS Duale, they were saying Farouk Kibet. So it's one name that is being mentioned, and I think is a very powerful person in the administration of President William Ruto. Even though
I think the best thing we should say is that he's a powerful person. We should not say we think, because this is a name, of course, that has been mentioned by close allies or anyone. The kind of relationship that is there between the president and his cabinet secretaries, and of course the likes of Duale, the likes of Murkomen. And if you watched that video when these members of parliament were speaking about this gentleman Farouk Kibet, and it's been actually on several documentaries, and the question that people are asking is, who is Farouk Kibet? Who is this gentleman? Who is this gentleman that even if you try to look for his biography to get to understand, from my thinking, I would think that maybe for him to be given the position of PA of the government, this guy might have gone to some school in Harvard and might have studied something so special, for him to be given this, opportunity, and for him to be this special. If you look at even his educational background, there's nothing that is so touchy or that is so, something that you can pick out and say that this is the special thing in him. I have never understood why he's been this powerful. I've never understood what special he has, but it seems there's something special he has that is making him hoover around the president and also have that kind of power that he enjoys. But again, I've actually watched some clips.
Yeah.
He is the PA of the president. But sometimes if you see him work with the cabinet secretaries and how he's treated and how he even speaks, he speaks like he's the boss of the cabinet secretaries.
Unajua, ukikuja kwa Kiswahili, kwa Kiswahili ambao watu nasema wandani wake, unajua wale ni wandani. Nadhani labda urafiki wao si tu mambo na kazi, labda inaweza kuwa hata biashara, na ni mtu ambaye labda anajua siri ya rais, na rais pia anajua siri zake, so lazima umweke karibu kwa sababu amebeba siri yako. To think of it, because like we know Rigathi Gachagua was the PA of President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Yeah, but did anybody knew about Rigathi Gachagua during the time Uhuru Kenyatta was nobody knew. People came to know Rigathi Gachagua. Actually, even when he was running for Madeira constituency, nobody knew Rigathi Gachagua apart from his constituents. But immediately Rigathi Gachagua was brought into the picture when he was now was appointed at the running mate for Uhuru for President William Ruto. He was very, very tactical in his politics and delivering of the message, mobilization. If you want somebody who drive the Raila Odinga narrative in 2022 in Mount Kenya, Rigathi Gachagua did it well, and including the Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. there's nobody who delivered the message like Rigathi Gachagua. He was very well in terms of delivering of the message. And that is also one thing that the president should be get worried of, because like when it comes to delivering the messages, yeah, he knows how, and he knows what people want to listen to. You know, he knows what do people want to listen to, because the president was in Mount Kenya. This is what he did, and this is what he did. Now, when it comes, he start to pick out what you did, and nani anakukosoa tukienda, and it reaches a point whereby people will say, we are not waiting to hear from president. I'm waiting for Mr. Mike on Sunday. What has taken president 1 week? If you look on the social media, well, what has taken president 1 week, Rigathi will destroy it in less than 2 hours. So that is because the way he delivers his messages, and he knows what people want to hear or what people want to listen to. So he has studied the audience, and he knows, oh, who are the targeted audience. Yeah? And he's also now I'm seeing the person that I was working with him is working so well about the social media. He's very active on social media. Go to TikTok. When he goes live on, he gets the majority of viewing in TikTok. So so I think the one for Farouk Kibet, I don't know, but it's so powerful.
Okay, thank you. To our viewers, once again, this is Brother Benson Media. And here we say that your opinion counts. If you're new to this channel, kindly like and subscribe so that whenever we are having this kind of conversations, YouTube will notify you, and you'll always have a chance to come and listen to us and also give your opinion, because hapa tunasema ya kwamba kila maoni, every opinion counts. And Miguda, I'll give you a chance to just give us your take on what you think about this gentleman.
I was making my. Can you hear me? I was making my conclusion. Yes. I was saying they are just being used, misused, and abused, because there is this bad manners that if I'm a PA or I'm a blogger or a photographer, the president, so there's something that also cheats you that you are also the president. You are not the president. We have one president, William Ruto. That blogger is not a president. That PA is not a president. That photographer is not a president. That bad manners, we must ensure that it end up with this regime, because I've never seen a situation whereby we are even in a war. We need to take all instruction from the general as a troop. Then all of a sudden, the general's photographer is coming to ask you to take instructions on how to act towards enemy. You are not allowed or permitted by the laws or the rules of war to take instruction from any person other than the general. Therefore, we are not going to take any instruction from a blogger, from a PA, from a photographer of the president, because they also think that the fact that you are close to him, you are also the president. In which world have you seen someone's PA coming to tell Kenyans that you must register for SHA? You must register for SHA. Na mpange uzazi. How? Who is he at the first place? Who elected him? Which office is he holding? We have the person who should articulate those issues. That's why I still believe that this issue of people being, that's why I think someone who is logical cannot go to that extent, that you are being used, misused, and later you're going to be abused. And we are urging our fellow youths, the Gen Z and the millennials brothers, even the Gen Alpha, that try so hard so that we say in Kiswahili that unafaa kujituma. Juu usipojituma utatumwa, usipotumwa utatumika, na ukishatumika watakudamp. We are not going to be used in this politics, or we are not going to be misused, and we are not going to be abused. We stand for our rights, and we stand with the people. Where the people are, that is rightly where we are positioning our demands, that we are with the people and we defend the rule of law and our constitution. As for the oppressors, be where you are and also allow yourself to be used. So Makubura, in short, what I'm trying to say, it is a bad culture, and it is not something that should be discussed.
in the national platform.
But I think like the culture is bad, but I think like like something that I've really realized with Kenya is that or with the leadership and everything about Kenya, the things that are not good are normalized to be okay. For instance,
and maybe Ben, to add on something, it is not actually him.
Yeah.
Him, of course, is being mentioned for quite some time. But there are also members of parliament who maybe we are being, if you remember the first statement of Gachagua, Gachagua said that some members of parliament who also maybe hails from where the president comes, since they hover or they move around the president, they also think that, they are very powerful and they can, give instructions to people.
You know what happens, Makobura? It's like this. The powers that they might be thinking that they have, this power they kind of like has been donated to them, because if there are clear indication or clear rules that guide either offices, even the office of the governor, offices of the MPs, office of the president, there are rules and regulations that guide that office, and you ignore it, which means the person who is holding that office has donated that power, or he has allowed that what is taking place to happen. He has authorized it in a way, because it requires you as a leader, what is required of you as a leader, what are my boundaries, especially as the leader, as a leader of this particular of the constituency. What does my constituents or my office of constituency require me to do? Or in the presidency, what does my presidency and the office of the president requires me to do? Yeah, because remember, even if you listen even to the MP for Kapsaret, Honorable Sodi, sometimes how he talks with authority. Yeah, not even him, even the CS for Interior before becoming CS, you would see that authoritativeness that comes from them. Even the Kimani Chungwa, how he speaks, there's that authority and finality that we are the people who matters, and we don't need your suggestion, or we don't need your inputs. So it depends with those powers are donated and what is required of us in those offices. If we can respect our offices and do what those offices requires us to do, some of what we are experiencing in the political arena of Kenya, these are some of the things that we could have not been seeing. Tell me, for example, like go right now. We can take a typical example with a country that is doing well. Traore, Captain Traore. Do you think that one can happen in that country? So everything within 2 years, they were able to pay their debts. What is so much different between us and them? It's the leadership. That is what makes us different. There's nothing big about it. Yeah, because Kenya, we have minerals. And what are the laws that governs these minerals? Yeah, do we know even how many minerals we have in Kenya? And how do we extract them? Yeah, when you get contract, because let's say if somebody goes to, we have one in Bondo, we have one in Miguda. I know you're from Migori. You know the Munyu Makalda. Yeah, Miguda. Yeah, Miguda.
Yes, I get you.
The Munyu Makalda.
I know what you are saying. I know very well. I know the place actually. Yeah, you're saying? How was it?
I'm getting echo.
You are muted. You are muted.
Yeah, you are saying?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you very clear.
I think I have a problem with my mic.
I can hear you. You are clear.
I think, yeah, the problem is coming from your side, Brother Ben, because Miguda, can you hear me?
Yeah, very clearly. I was saying he was asking me the issue. He was asking me about the issue of Macalda. I think he was interested on the issue of the gold mining there, the gold mining process, and he wanted to ask how the process of mining or exploitation until the market of the gold, because you understand that there are some counties that are rich in minerals, but whenever they are rich in minerals, but instead of these minerals adding value to the counties or to the nation at large, they have been misexploited. Brother Benson, am I explaining what you are asking me?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
You are clear.
Now let me leave.
Okay. So, Makubura, I think that's what he wanted to explain, because he wanted to link it with the issue of the Burkina Faso, the Traore,
Is there
Traore thing.
connected as well?
You? No, you can speak.
Yes.
I can hear you.
I don't know. The problem is
There's no echo from your side. There's no echo.
okay. Then proceed.
I was just concluding that I think he wanted me to explain the issue of mining and how it does not add value to the county or to the nation, unlike what has happened in the Burkina Faso with the current leadership of Captain Traore, whereby they've ensured that they are exploiting their minerals and is adding value and is generate revenue to the country. That is what we ought to have done as a country, than doing the shady deals around. I believe that's a very good trajectory. But Kenya, as we are today, this country, corruption is at its peak, that people don't even understand what's going on. In the morning, in the forenoon, in the afternoon, evening, night, midnight, corruption, dawns corruption. Corruption is all over the county governments, national government, departments. There is corruption. That's why I don't know how we will sort out this issue. Though people have different opinion, but me, I still stick on my opinion that the only way is revolution. Makubura, back to you.
Hello? Makubura, can you hear me?
Yes, you're okay.
I don't know where I think Miguda had you. I was just connecting it to Burkina Faso and how he came into power and realized that their potential was in the minerals, and that's where they capitalized, and they ended up paying all their debts, and now Burkina Faso is free. But they're not under ECOWAS. But right now, you know that they are exiting ECOWAS. They're going to have their own regional bloc, the three of them. Yeah, they are exiting. And remember, it is last week that the three of their foreign ministers went to Russia to meet the Russian president. You know, so they are chatting their own ways. And if you listen to the Nigerian, I think what the Nigerian head of the army was saying on how the withdrawal of the three states from ECOWAS is making them weak and vulnerable, you know.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, very much, very well.
I wanted to read. I wanted to read a letter here, and
Yes.
this letter is talking about the proposed salary increment for members of parliament, of which so far we've seen some members of parliament coming out to say they're not interested in that increment. And there's one here that is written by Senator Richard Onyonka, and I just wanted to read it, and then maybe we give our views on it.
Yeah.
Of course, it is directed to the SRC, and the heading, the matter here is proposed salary increment 366,000 is the amount that they're supposed to, the SRC was proposing that they waongezewe. And so he writes that this is something he wrote, today is 9th April, that the above matter, of course, that is the proposed salary, is talking about that. As the senator representing the great people of Kisii County, I find it unjustifiable to accept my salary increment at a time when Kenyans are grappling with high taxes and high cost of living. It is unconscionable for me to accept a salary increment at this time. Our country right now requires fiscal responsibility and prudence in the management of public resources. He goes ahead and says that I find it unacceptable that as I'm being given a salary increment to a tune of 366,000 in line of duty, I find it unacceptable that the member of county assembly, who are the ones who receive the brunt of the public engagement, are only earning a salary of 81,000. When my salary is being increased to 1 million, your attention to this matter will highly be appreciated. Senator Richard Momoima Onyonka, Senator of Kisii County.
Okay.
As I was reading this, actually what prompted me to read this is what you talked about, the leadership of a country that is Burkina Faso. And then I tell myself that maybe if Onyonka was somewhere as a president, I don't know if he is writing this because he's a senator, or is writing this because he's a concerned Kenyan leader who is really genuine to what is happening. But what I wanted to say is that, of course, why would we increase the salaries of members of parliament at a time when the salaries of fellow Kenyans are being reduced? And again, as you're reducing the salary of Kenyans, you're increasing taxes on their pay slip. Instead of increasing their salary so that whatever they're taking home is making sense, is reasonable, you are reducing their salary, and at the same time, the one that is reduced, you are taxing it. Bado unakata sha na she na everything. Where are we? What is it that is not working? Why is it that the leadership have forgotten about the citizens? Why is it that it is okay for members of parliament to travel to any country via air using taxpayer money, but the people who are paying to be transported from one place to another, you're increasing the fuel that they're supposed to use? So instead of making it, workable, you're making it tough for them, and you're giving yourself more and more luxurious lifestyle. And again, they're also using a strategy where they do not want to leave these positions. They want to fully get on of these positions? Is it really in order?
Okay, let me come in before me good. One of tendency, or would I say that I told you earlier when we were starting our conversation, that there are things that as a country we've always normalized. We celebrate, and Gibson Connor Zoro said it, we celebrate failures than our achievements. And we celebrate those that are negative, that you find that we thrive on the negativity, but not the positivity of the country. I want to give a typical example. When you're running a company, and the only time you can think of salary increment, Abari Laban Misiani, the only time you can think of salary increment, if the company is making profit. And when the company is making profit, which means the employees are working harder, or you've understood the market intelligence of that area, and you know what your customers want, and you kind of like get the 50% share of that particular market, or the market of the product that you're producing, then automatically you will make profit, because when you get almost like 75 market share of that product, everybody will think of you first before thinking of other people or other companies that are offering the same services. So that one will make you get the bigger share or make profit. And you bring in things like SWOT analysis. What are the strengths and your strength, and you capitalize on the weakness of other companies that are doing the same business. So I don't know the criteria on what is used, especially when the salary of members of parliament are being increased. I don't know what criteria or what are the pointing factors that say that, okay, as a country right now, we should earn the salary, or we should increase the salary. At the same time that we want to increase the salary, I don't know whether you know of our security, especially our policemen, wanaishi kwa zile, ukienda pali wanaishi kwa hizo nyumba zao.
Me, I'm on the ground. I do visit these stations almost on a daily basis. I do have interactions with them. Majority of them are not happy with the environment that they're working and the payment that they're getting. And I think the people who actually are supposed to receive a salary increment are police. Juzi walikuwa wanaambiwa wameongezwa mshahara. Unajua waliongezwa pesa ngapi? Wengine walipewa 1,000, 700, 1,000, 2,000. Alafu hapa unaona mheshimiwa, wanajiita waheshimiwa, member of parliament anapewa 366,000. What justifies that? 366,000. These people are going to earn 1 million, and then someone who's going to school has a degree, bachelor's. If they're employed, they would be paid 30,000 or less in the Republic of Kenya. And surely, continent,
unajua kwa Kiswahili tunasema kuwa naweza sema kwamba tumeishi maisha ya kuigiza sana, ambapo tunajua kwamba kiongozi tu ni yule mtu ambaye amechaguliwa na wananchi. Na sana sana ukiangalia maofisa wa mapolisi wetu
kidogo tu. Just a minute. I've seen a comment here from Laban. Laban Misiani, this time round we have to wake from the slumber. This time round we are not going to sleep. Even if it means that we are going to stay awake the whole day, the whole night. There are things that personally, as a patriot, I'm not going to allow. Personally. Laban, let me tell you something. I'm currently working in a financial institution. This thing called affordable housing, my brother, until you're on the ground, you should not actually speak about it. This thing is not affordable, my brother. we do these calculations. Unaona kwanza, you're saying about the police officers, about the ati wanaweza pewa hii affordable house walipe polepole. I'm telling you, pay slip.
Okay. Wait, before me good, anasema kulipa polepole. I hope Laban Misiani, I hope you are well okay with accounts.
Where is our good friend coming from? Laban, are you really in the Republic of Kenya?
No, let me give him a typical example when we are doing accounts. For a transaction to take place when you're doing accounting, there must be debit and credit. So when you'll be balancing off your books, the books will balance. And let's say you are buying. When you're buying a product, you have to debit it, or when you're selling it, you credit. So it shows the flows, then you can balance the account. Now, when you are talking about affordable housing, first mistake is you are being deducted. Yeah. Then again, after being deducted, then you buy it. So which means if you're doing accounts, you will be doing double payment for one product. I don't know whether we are understanding each other on the accounts. So that is one question that we are asking. Secondly, when you come to affordable housing, I told you about Kenya. Kenya, we have types of title deeds. Yeah, we have, even if they are given loan, let me tell you, even if you're given a loan, now I'm bringing you to when you have given a loan. First of all, when you're given a loan, you will, the loan account with the police circle will credit the account, then they debit your account. As you debit your account, you are also still contributing. So which means you're still paying double, whether you get, and that one, even getting a loan is going to make it more worse for you.
Let me tell our good friend Laban something. Laban, I do walk. Mimi utembea mara mingi, napatana na hawa wangwana wetu. I can tell you that just for your information, the cheapest affordable housing, as they are being said, is 2.5, and that might be a bed sitter or a one bedroom, depending on a one bedroom, because a two bedroom is around 3 million, or not less than 3 million. Two bedroom. So let's talk about let's just work with a two bedroom of 3 million. You want a loan of 3 million, but remember, this is Kenya. There's a rule that if you are receiving a salary, there's a maximum of what you can commit. So the third rule is there, and it has to be followed by any financial institution that is giving you that amount of money. Currently, the cheapest or the lowest in the market, the lowest rate that the financial institutions are giving out these loans is 9 or 9.5. Majority is 9.5. So Laban, there's something called affordability, and it has to appear. Your payslip qualifies you if you want a loan for the mortgage or any loan. There's what we call the affordability. Let's say, for example, Laban, that you are a police officer, you want a loan of 3 million in Nairobi, and you've approached a financial institution, you want 3 million. They'll give you at a rate of 9.5 or 9. Let's work with 9.5. And you want to pay this loan in 10 years. You've been given 3 million. That is two bedroom. You are paying it. You want to stay in Nairobi. You're a police officer with an interest rate of 9.5 fixed for that 10 years. My brother, you'd be paying on a monthly basis 38,800 819. Tell me, is that affordable? Can a police officer, a junior police officer, afford that? That is a home or a house of 2 bedroom you've taken in Nairobi. Remember, you've got kids, they have to go to school. Remember, you've got kids, they have to go to school. You've got your rural home, you have to build, you have to make things work. So, Laban, in short, what I'm saying is this affordable thing, affordable hours that we are being told, it is not factual, it is not practical, it is not affordable. The police officers cannot afford it. That is the mere truth. It is the mere fact. So that is the explanation, my brother Laban. And if you have any question or if you want me to give an explanation of that, I've just worked with 3 million. 3 million with the current rate that is being given by the financial institution. NHC is giving with 10.5. The banks are giving with 9 or 9.5. And that is the lowest in the market. You're paying for 10 years. You've been given a 2-bedroom house in Nairobi. You'll be paying 38,000. Tell me, ni polisi gani ana earn more than 38,000 on a monthly basis? How are they going to afford this affordable thing that you are being told? Is it affordable? Let's be factual. Laban, if you have any question or if you are not satisfied with what I've explained to you, you can just you can write your question at the comment section. I give you that clarification. I understand. Kumbe ndio maana labda elewi hizi vitu. Labda vitu kwa ground are not really the way we are being told. The truth of the matter is this affordable is not. I've just worked with a typical 2-bedroom of 3 million, which you'll not actually get it with 3 million. They will tell you it's 3.5 or 4 million in most of the places. Yeah, so that's why more of police officers, instead of, if they're given somewhere to stay, they can just opt to take the small places where they've been given to stay, because they also have homes. They have to build in their rural homes. The villagers wana expect polisi aishi vizuri, and that's why they opt to just go do some few developments in their rural areas instead of taking houses within Nairobi. Any person who can afford affordable housing of hizi manyumba zenye tunaambiwa ni za Ruto are cheap. Anybody who wants not less than from, let me say 80,000. Anybody whose salary is from 80,000, those are the people who can afford those houses. Do we have majority of people, Kenyans, earning or getting a net of 80,000? Not really. In short, it is not practical. It is not making sense. It cannot work out. Yeah, so Laban, I think that's a truthful conversation that we've had, a truthful explanation that I've given you. And kindly, let us not mislead Kenyans. Let's speak the truth. It is not working. It is not. Let us, it is so wrong if we give information which is not right to the citizens. And these are things that they do interact with on a daily basis. Miguda, you can give your last remarks before we end the show.
Can you hear me? I want to talk about this issue of salary increment by our legislatures. You understand that legislatures, they are the lawmaking body, and whenever there is an interest that is going on their behalf, they will quickly pass it on that issue of salary. They can deny it in writing or verbally, but in the real sense, it's going to be effective. And you understand the time when we have the Senate, there was a motion whereby they were supposed to vote on how to increase funding to the county.
but senators vote against increasement of funds in the counties. I don't know why were they voting against increasement of the funds in the county. But when it comes to the salaries, they have admit unanimously that they are going to increase their salaries. But when the county needed money for them to increase, that they voted against. You know, Parliament is an arm of government. It's part of we have three arms of government, but also it's a government of its own because it's an arm of government. And there's been a conflict of interest. There have been this conflict of interest, and when we have the interior arm of government, that is the governor and the county assembly, the interior part of it, you find that money that is going to the governor or to the county assembly, the legislatures, that is the national legislatures, they vote against that money going to the county assembly, because when it go to the county government, it will also goes to the county assembly, MCAs. But why is that they are increasing for the members of the National Assembly, but they're not increasing for the members of county assembly? That's why I have a problem with them, because we ought to have, the time we had a motion to increase for the county government, it could have added it to the governor, the county assembly, MCS. But now you can see whereby now MCS have been omitted, but right now the legislatures, the national, they are going to be, and actually I think it is something that has been processed and is on. And that's why I still believe that the fact that we have the interior arm of government, but there is how these arms of government, they conflict and they serve their own interest. Makubura, my last submission, if I may, because I'm winding up, just like to urge our viewers that this is Brother Benson Media, and here we say your opinion count. That is why you have also seen our friend Laban is even commenting about Asla Fund and affordable housing. Maybe it's also the country don't understand what's in the ground, but we incorporate his opinion because he's at liberty to do so. And also, for the people who are watching for the first time, kindly do subscribe, because that is how you can support this channel, and also you can share, like, and also we welcome people on board. We have a link. You can, if you have a divergent opinion, you can also join and also share with us, because we are open to critique. We are not like a Songo. If your critic is going to arrest you, we are open to critique, and everybody has his opinion. See you next time. Bye bye.
You've just reminded me of something. That Laban alisema ati one can take Asla Fund as well. Hey, our Laban. Hey, this is serious. I don't know if you understand that Asla Fund which you're talking about. Asla Fund. Laban, come home, and understand these things. Yeah, so I want to take this opportunity to appreciate everyone who joined the conversation today. Thank you so much, Gypsy Corner, for being with us from the start to the end. Thank you so much, Laban, for also giving us your take. Thanks, Gitonga, for finding time to also be with us. Thanks so much, Judith Karetha. Thanks so much, Batseba Ndwari, for also finding time to join us and to give us your take. I also want to thank Kibogong. I also saw you, Kibogong. Thank you so much, Kibogong, for also finding time to join us and to give us your take. We really, really appreciate. There's Prince Igwe Okeche. Thank you so much, Prince, for also coming. Linolot. Thank you so much, Linolot, again. There's Political Buffs. Thank you so much, Political Buff. Silly 2 TV. Asante sana. Brenda Obedi. And everyone who maybe watched the show and never commented. I want to take this opportunity to really appreciate. Thank you so much for coming to be with us and for supporting us. We really, really, really appreciate. Tomorrow will also come and we'll continue the conversation. So you can join us as well tomorrow. If you've not subscribed, kindly do. It is a way of supporting us and we'll really appreciate. I want to take this opportunity to wish you all a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you are. Thank you so much and may God bless you. See you again tomorrow and bye-bye for now.